when everybody was shutting down an event, that's when I was building aggressively. I had to be obedient and trust the process.
Wow.
So the first day they gave me the ugliest job task to do at the company, and I did it in my nicest clothes. And that's why I always encourage our community, when it's time of election, brother, you got to go there, vote. You got to go out there and vote. Because whatever policies, whatever decisions that are being made, you gotta make sure that's in the best interest of you as an entrepreneur. You gotta make sure that it is in the best interest of you as a person of color, as an immigrant. You gotta make sure. But when you don't vote,
I believe in how you do one thing is how you do everything. Yeah. So if you're lacking discipline in the gym, you're gonna lack discipline in your business.
There's no commitment, there's no growth. I was the only high school student in that entire conferences. Yeah. So I was like, hey, why don't we create our own version here?
But I think it's a great reminder that in life, things don't happen to us, they happen for us.
Thank you. I'm gonna be the first one here, and I'm gonna be the last one.
Buddy, welcome back to the Rise Podcast. I'm your host, I'm the CEO and founder of Handy Mobile. Today, I have Gode Katembo. He is the owner of Canada African Cup of Nations. And he's also a man of suits as well too. He owns Gode Katembo, right? It is a clothing and suits company as well too. Man, thanks for being on the show, bro.
Man, it's a pleasure being here, man.
Nah, I appreciate it. And like I said, I'm a man of like, I met him, I'm like, hey, let's connect. Let's do a meeting, but let's do a podcast and talk about your story, because I think he has a remarkable journey of what he's been through. So, Gode, tell me a little bit about how this all started, man. I see you have so many things that you're doing in the community, and I'm like, I have to connect with this guy. So, how did this start with your suits business and Canada Cup of African Nation? Like, what was the idea behind all of this?
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me, man. I mean, it's been a while that we've been trying to connect. I know my schedule is hectic during summer, but now we have the opportunity to connect. Yeah, man. I think how it all started, I was always an entrepreneur. My father, since back home, like until we moved to Canada, I've never seen my father working for anybody else. So that's all I knew, right? Until we got to Canada and I see my father we gotta start looking for a job. And even then, when he started looking for a job, it's like, man, this is not for me, right? I see how he struggled. And I knew it. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Business ran in my family. Like my mother used to do business back home. My father used to do business back home. So business is all I know, right? I think my entrepreneurship journey kind of started since I was in high school, man. I was curious about things, and all I knew was how to make profit. That's how I knew the ways of living. Like I'm not used to somebody, I'm going to work and somebody going to give me salary. Like, it's just not my thing. Yeah. I had to sell a product or a service to make a living.
100%. Yeah.
So, I mean, fast forward, of course, that was a high school journey. Many businesses, of course, you, as many other entrepreneurs, you start many different businesses. You fail and you do terrible. You try and you try again. But the Canada African Cup of Nations actually was born out of because of community and passion and just creating space where young people can come play and connect, right? We have a lot of communities here that from different parts of Africa and in Caribbeans, but we're divided for one or another reason, right? So I was like, man, I was reading soccer and I just wanted to create something out of, like, I saw a problem in the community, like every other business is born out of trying to solve a problem. So the problem was out there in the community. A lot of young people, they were looking for somewhere to be. A lot of shooting, a lot of gang involvement. I was like, hey, you know what? Why don't we create a soccer tournament that just keep young people off the street and just play, right? I was a young person back then. I was in college, matter of fact, when the whole idea came. I was like, every Saturday and Sunday during summer, we do not have the privilege to go on cabins and cottage. May as well create something for ourselves, right? Yeah. So then we started this competition and that's when it started, and we play Saturday and Sunday. It's been to bring communities, this country playing against this country, this community, and that's how Canada African Cup of Nations started. Now we are operating in Ontario, so we have Ontario African Cup of Nations. Nice. We have Manitoba African Cup of Nations, the Canada African Cup of Nations, the umbrella. Right now we're serving about 32 African communities across Canada. Right.
No, man, that's a big milestone. But you said something there that's very interesting. I think entrepreneurship, you have to be curious. If you're not curious, you can't really start any business, because the idea of, like I said, finding a problem, being able to fix it. So tell me, how does like your upbringing, like originally, where are you from originally, and how has that shaped you to creating African Cup of Nation and being, because you have to be able to experience what you're seeing back home to come back over here to create that change. So tell us a little bit about back home and how that's, how that kind of happened.
Yeah, like, I mean, I left Africa when I was, I think, 13 or 12 years old. And of course, I played back home. I played for my school. I was always passionate about the game, right? Funny story. I think this is just a manifestation coming. I was in high school. Again, I started in high school. I had my gym teacher, Mr. Vince, and he knew that I was so passionate about soccer. He literally called me Mr. Soccer. That's why he referred to me, right? This like way before anything started. So I was always curious, right? I played soccer here. I played college. I played uni. I have coached. And there was something that was missing that I'm like, man, African football, or like the way how we play, the culture around this, so it's totally different. And people from South America, you will know that the Canadian soccer, or people from even from Europe, it's a little bit different. So I wanted to bring that experience here, playing the same kind of game. And understanding that many of us will never play in the actually African Cup of Nations. Yeah. So I was like, hey, why don't we create our own version here? So that's when it started. And again, kind of wanted to bring the culture, trying to bring the entertainment to sports, because sports, it's entertainment. It's not just the 11 people playing on the field, but it's the whole community. People who are coming, people who are selling things, people buying food, music. Like there's so many elements that goes on when it comes to football, especially back home. Right?
What part of Africa, Gode?
I'm from the DRC Congo.
DRC Congo.
Yes, yeah.
DRC is, you guys are very passionate, very hardworking people, man.
Hey, we have to be, man. We know what's going on back home. And I always say to all my young African, not just people from the DRC Congo, I say, if you're here in Canada, you are the chosen. So you got to make the most out of the time that you're here. Because we got brothers and sisters back home who will die to be in the same space that we are in right now. So when I see young people not maximizing their potential or their talent, I'm like, brother, there's somebody else back home who will die to be in Canada, or who want to be here in Canada so they can maximize just the opportunities that are here.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's understanding where you started, like in the beginning. Like you coming to Canada and seeing what you're seeing back home to kind of make that change. So Gode, how did, like, you started, of course, you said as a young kid being an entrepreneur. What was the first business that you started here in Winnipeg?
I think this is something that I still regret on. When drop shipping started, I was like one of the few people, this is back 2010, like literally, I was always into exporting and importing, like at a very young age, because I saw my father doing that from back before even I was born. Always hearing the story how he was like importing, right? Ability to move one product or one service from one area to another area. And I always say, it's like back home, maybe it's a little, to run a business is so much easier than here. You got wages, so you gotta go this. Literally back home, you can buy this, maybe this phone here at this block and sell it this block and you start making money. Just like that. Like nobody question you, right? So at the early age, I think, back in 2010 here in Canada, I started by bringing things from China, right? Started buying things in USA, bring them to Canada. Back then, of course, the Canadian dollar had actually purchasing power rather than the US compared to now. So I started moving things. I knew it. I would buy like nice pairs of like sneakers, and I would wear it one time at high school. And so where did you buy them? I say, you know what? You have $100? I'll sell it to you for $100. I got them like for like $40, right? So the hustling started. So I bought one pair became 2 pairs, 3 pairs, and then start building, right? Of course, that was back early in 2010, man. But right, did it do good? Yeah, no, like here and there, I didn't concentrate. I didn't look at it as a business. Like it was my way of making extra income. Like, I didn't think of what it could be, right? So I was like, easy way to get extra money, right? So I started doing that.
Yeah. And then from there on, you essentially were able to sort of learn from that business. And then you kind of, I'm guessing life happened. Because I think whenever, during those times, like I said, that's actually, I came to Canada 2009. So a couple of years later, when I got into Alibaba and... I was up a little bit of that too. So I was 15, flipping shoes.
Oh, you did flip shoes?
Come on, man. You know what I mean? So by that time, I think this was around 2015. And Alibaba was just starting. No, was a thing.
So I was on that, bro.
Yeah. So you could literally see the opportunity where, because nobody seen, we could buy stuff from over here, ship it over here, and sell it to people.
And boom, you're making money.
But I like the concept where you said that back home, you could just buy this phone for 100, sell it to that person. Over here, though, there's so much complex things you gotta learn. You gotta go to a company's office, you gotta register that. Once you get a corporate account, you gotta understand your lawyers, how to structure it.
Exactly.
There's so many things you gotta kind of structure. So tell me, now 2010, those years, what did you learn to be able to, when you establish, now you have a suits company. So how did this come all about?
Yo, man, again, just 2010, high school, 2014, of course, high school years has its own dramas, right? Hit rock bottom, being bullied, being picked on, youngest, smallest guy, on most of the time in my class. And, you know, like any entrepreneur, any young person, right? So I decided 2010, so I'm going, the 2010 to 2014, 15, 2000, I think 11 or 12, started high school around there, went to high school, being bullied here and there. Grade 11, grade 10 hit. I made up my mind. I said, nobody is going to bully me around the school.
Nice.
So, of course, the first thing hit the gym. I had to improve myself, man. I had to improve myself. I started reading books, man. Started reading books, how money works and how things work. And I knew it. And I was struggling. You being bullied at school, you don't do well when you're being bullied at school. I hated school, man. I hated it. Yeah. Right? Because every time I go there, I get picked on here and there for one or another reason. I came here as a refugee, right? So it was not always easy. Parents working, trying to navigate, trying to learn a new language. So many obstacles, man. So many obstacles. And in grade 11, I made up my mind. I'm like, yo, nobody's going to outwork me. So I started working extra hard at the gym, personal development. And then grade 12 was like, yo, I figured out like, amen, while reading Romeo and Juliet in grade 11, grade 12. I'm like, how the hell is this going to help me to make more money? As I'm start thinking money now. So grade 12, I was in this program called Career Internship Program at my school was offering. For someone, so it counted as your English program, but was like more personal development. Like we became obsessive, attending seminars, workshop, conferences, like doing all those other things. Because we came to realize like not every kid like really want to read the Romeo and Juliet and all of those things in your English. Me wanted to work was your public speaking skills. So we did Toastmaster back in grade 12. Then I had to go to one of the conferences. This was now the suit staff came. One of the conferences, I was the only high school student in that entire conferences. These were business owners, couple few university students who were maybe first year, second year in their business. I was the only high school student. And I walked in the room and I thought, I'm like, what the heck am I doing here? Because everybody else, maybe couple few university students, but everyone else was professionals. Right? I show up in a room and I'm like, yo, I called my teacher because got me this ticket. It was $85. Ticket was the best investment. It's like, of course, I was a high school student, so somehow got it through connections. Hey, you should go into this, look like could be. So I went, I showed up, and I was like sweating, and I'm panicking, and I'm grade 11, grade 12. Remember, I didn't go with my teacher, I didn't go with like a student advisor or counselor. It is me against all these professionals in the room, and somehow to start introducing myself. Right, introduce what I do, and everybody on the table. What do you do? Oh, I own this company. What do you do? I own this company. Oh, what do you do? I'm the sales VP at this company. I'm like, what the heck? What am I doing here? So I'm start sweating, man. I was during the lunch hour. I called my teacher, gave me a ticket. I'm like, yo, you didn't tell me about this. I should have been more prepared. But if I knew, if they would have told me, I probably would not have went. So they threw me there, and I just showed up. And then during lunch, I went to the washroom, wiped myself up. I was like, yo, there was one guy who was speaking, I think was one of the owner for one of the biggest custom suit companies in Manitoba. He was on a panel. And I targeted during lunchtime. I'm like, yo, I need to talk to that brother. I was looking so fine. Wow. And I knew it. I was like, yo, I need to figure out what this guy do and how do they do it. So during lunchtime, I was like, okay, I got 2 minutes. This is the only time I can talk to this individual. So I went up to him and I said, hello, sir, my name is so-and-so. I will be interested learning and knowing more about what you do. When I was a high school student, big ball. So it's like, yeah, he gave me his business cards. Like he encouraged me. Like just like he's like, man, you have the courage to even come and speak to me, because I know many of kids of your age will not, especially in a room. And I realized that you're the youngest person in a room. So he gave me his business card. So I started doing internship at his workplace.
Yeah.
Right, his company. They had a couple of few stuff, and from there, so they were making custom suits custom suits. So I started learning what they were doing, how they're doing, right? And yes, the first time I showed up at the job, I was like, yes, thinking entrepreneurship thing was all about wearing nice suits. And of course, he makes suits for a living, but then like, yeah, Gode, the first day, you're going to be sweeping the floor. I showed up with my nicest outfit. He gave me a broom. It's like, yeah, you're going to sweep this, you're going to sweep this, you're going to make sure you take out the trash. And I had the options to say, brother, I showed up in my nicest outfit.
Yeah.
And you're telling me I'm going to take out the trash? You tell me I'm going to sweep? You tell me I'm going to mop?
Yeah.
Like, I had like, those thoughts were running in my brain. I'm like, yo, this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah, yeah.
But I had to do it. I had to be obedient and trust the process.
Wow.
So the first day they gave me the ugliest job task to do at the company, and I did it in my nicest clothes. Right?
Yeah, they kind of put you in there and just say, hey, come on, man, let's see
how you built.
Yeah.
Because again, in a normal response, you'll be like, yeah, man, I have my nice outfit on. Why did you not tell me ahead of it? Or you say, man, I did it. And I was not getting paid. Like I had the option to say, yo, thank you, fam. I'm out of here. Yeah. But through that time, I started learning. I spent there about 1 month, right? Not getting paid.
Wow.
Not a single cent. Showing up day in, Monday to Friday, day in, day out, day in, day out. And some Saturdays I'll go there. And I learned from how they were operating. So that's when kind of my suit, I was like, man, if these guys can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So from that, my brain started thinking. I'm like, this? So I started learning. But it started again by making that step of like, hey, let me introduce myself.
Yeah. No, that's powerful, bro. I think we can learn a lot from that. And I always tell people nowadays, because everybody's looking to get a paycheck. They want to get paid tomorrow. But that's powerful though, because like you got a ticket, but you decided to attend, right, without knowing what it was about. Yeah, and then you showed up, you know what I mean? Yeah. Young and hungry. And I think you could take a lot from that, because anyone who showed up to an event, you're not just coming there to connect and meet people. You want to come there, ask questions. And I think that's one of the most powerful things you could do, because I believe courage comes from confidence, right? It comes before confidence. So if you have courage, if you have the ability to say, okay, I'm going to do this, right? I'm not going to be afraid to do this and take that action, then, you know, it goes a long way. But that's pretty remarkable. So tell me, when you did that at the early young age, I'm guessing that boosted your confidence, because then you got the internship with that guy for a couple months. Yeah. Because I think the best way to learn is to essentially get a mentor, right? And just do it for free to learn from him. And then that will still use, because you can either go to school, spend a lot of money in tuitions, or you could just learn from someone who's an expert at what they do, and you could just work for them. Most people, they want to get paid, but it's like, hey, if I'm having experience for 10, 20 years and I'm successful at this one field, why not learn from me to be able to expand? So tell me, when you did that, how did the idea of, okay, now I want to turn this into a business come about, and how did that process go?
Well, of course, like it was not like, oh, now all of a sudden, right? So I stepped away from it. You know, he wanted to hire at first, because again, it was a small startup company. So I was like, hey, you know, now my internship is done. I went back to school, went to Red River College, just doing my business program. And I was like, hey, so I called him up. I'm like, hey, you have any openings? I'm looking for a job. He's like, no, I don't have any openings. At that moment, right? Again, I could have felt entitled, because I'm like, man, I worked for you for like a whole month for free. Like, then let's just give the brother a few hours a week. Like, I don't care. Just give me like something, right? It's like, no, things, no. So it's like, okay, you know what? Fine. So went on And I was still doing the suit stuff, like friends. I started styling some friends here and there, like whatever they needed. It was not like, oh, now all of a sudden I'm going to start a business, right? There's a process, right? And that process is patience. There is learning. There is so much things. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to continue doing. So I continue again playing college soccer, and then I was in school. So I didn't really pay attention too much to it. But friends here and there, well, hey, do you need me? Hey, do you need, right? Then 2016, 2017, my brother was getting married. He's like, yo, Gode, I need you to make me a wedding suit. I'm like, bro, I've never done this. He's like, yeah, you know the plug. You did work somewhere that they make suit. I say, okay. Let me give it a try. He gave me at his wedding, I guess it was my brother. So I was like, yeah, I got you. His groomsmen, right? Nice. The guy who was getting married, he trusted me. His groomsmen, they're like, nah, we're going to go to a tip-top tailor. Let's be safe. I don't want to risk it on your day. So they went the other way. So my brother gave me the first try. Said, like, make me my wedding suit.
Nice.
So 2016, 2017, I said, yeah, you know what, to be an honor and to be a privilege. And this was my first, somebody gambling their wedding day. And it's the first time you doing it. Yeah. But like, yo, make me a wedding suit. I say, okay, you know what? Fine, I will do it. And I did it. And his suit was like, I'm not talking about, of course, it's the groom and he was wearing all pure white, but like the fitting, everything was so good to the point that his groomsmen, they're like, yo, can you help me out with this? Can you help me out with this? So that moment is when I found courage, because I knew that I could do better than tip-top tailor, because the product that I gave my brother and what the groomsman went to buy at tip-top tailor, and I compared the two products, the fitting, the texture, the cutting, the stitching. I was like, I think there's some business opportunity here. If I can do better than the guys who are in the business for very long, I think there's some openings here.
I like it.
Right. So that was like, I was like, yeah, but of course I left it, went to do my other things, and I was focusing mainly to the soccer stuff. So I left it there, but I was like on a casual helping people whenever they needed.
Yeah. No, that's a great example of like, you take I like to call it, not really risk, you take the opportunity. Helping your brother out, your own family. Cause he can easily go to someone else, but you take it to trust you. Let's go back into soccer, cause you're an athlete. I'm also an athlete. I played basketball growing up. How has like you playing sports, because you said you being from Africa, I think playing sports is the best way to, I grew up in the North End, so I've seen crazy things. And so I played basketball growing up, and it was the one way that I actually escaped out of, the drugs and people going to gangs. Because I believe that when you have a community, like you said, community is massive. Yeah. You have a group of people coming together to play basketball. We can be up till 1 a.m. We're shooting. Yeah, I grew up on 95 Ellen Street, Aircom, and we would be out there till 1 a.m. People are shooting. We playing American 21. And sometimes they get physical. So people are like, man, how did you get your tough skin? I'm like, when you grew up in the North and you play sports, you're guaranteed to be tough, right? And so I think what's happening, though, a lot of times is the environment. It's what people surround themselves into, because playing sports, you can have a determination and the discipline to learn it. So tell me, how did soccer come about, and were you always an athlete? Because, and tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I would say one thing that I would say, right, is I grew up with 4 older brothers. Okay. All ballers. Like they play, like since back home. I had one older sister. So of course me too. Almost share similar story with you. I grew up on Langside Street. Right, just like right here between Broadway and just a little bit up here. So you grew up on a tough skin. If you know Langside in Winnipeg, it's a rough area. And I used to work on the Ellis and Langside. So sometimes I work at a restaurant at 11 p.m. You walking down the street by yourself. Plus me, you gotta have some tough skin. Yeah. But of course, there's a few principles that I have learned while playing sports that I still even apply in my business, in my day-to-day life. Like one of it is discipline, right? I always say commitment, right? Commitment to the vision. I always tell this to all the athletes that I coach. Like I say, where there's no commitment, there's no growth, right? And all of us are committed to something or another thing. You're either committed to mediocrity or you're committed to excellence. You are either, like we are all committed to something. So when people say, oh, I'm not committed. No, you're committed to watching TV. You're committed to sleeping in. You are committed to eating junk. Like you are committed to something, right? So like discipline, team working, like problem solving, like it's a team, man. Like, yes, you have tough skin here and there. So, and I grew up on Langside. I saw some of my brothers no, my biological brothers like I used to play soccer with, and they took a long time, right? And for me, and the reason why I really stayed in sport was like really, it became an avenue for me to keep me out of trouble. I went to college through scholarship because I was through sports, right? Went to uni, I played, covered some of my tuition fees through sport. And I see some of the guys who took a different path because they're like, I'm not going to play sports. Hey, on a rough streets, either you're not playing sports or something else is going to occupy you.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? So for me, it was like really sports. And again, that's the same reason why I'm using it to see on how I can empower, mobilize community, and especially empower youth, right? It's first, sports is a good way to take them off the street. Then I can mentor them. I guess, okay, now outside sport, I'm not coaching you to be a professional athlete, but I'm coaching you to be a great individual, right? So I'm going to work on your discipline. I'm going to work on your attitudes. I'm going to work on how you show up. Because how you show up in life, if you show up with the wrong attitude at practice, most likely you're going to show up with the wrong attitude at the workplace. Most likely you're going to show up with the wrong attitude in your relationships with people at home, with your girlfriend, whoever. So these are principles. And when I'm coaching, I always look at the holistic development of an individual.
No, that's powerful. I'm with you, but I believe in how you do one thing is how you do everything. Yeah. So if you're lacking discipline in the gym, you're going to lack discipline in your business. It's either or. You get to choose one. And like I said, that's a great example of being average. If you want to be average, then you're going to do average things. You're going to watch TV. You're going to be a consumer. But you get to have choices. I think we all have choices. And when you come here like an immigrant, we start from nothing. We come from, I always tell this analogy of like, we don't come here to be poor. Essentially, we're not financially, but poor essentially like mentally, physically, spiritually. Because these are things that we want to work on, not just the money wise, but how is it that we're coming from places that, we've, because, Africans, I believe we created everything from the sun, from the moon. Yes. There's so many things that we've created, but how is it that we created so many things and we revolutionized the world? Especially you look at soccer, right? But now they call it football, and you know what I mean? So it's like, how do you look at that and become like, okay, how do we create a different dynamic? And I think community is in one way. So that's why I commend what you're doing. So going back to your story, Gode, tell me, Canada African Cup of Nations, it's pretty powerful what you're doing there, being able to build out that space for, people, young people to come play soccer. When did that start for you?
Yeah, that again, the whole thing, it started back in 2018, but the actually official first one, it used to be called Manitoba African Cup of Nations. I was thinking locally, I just wanted it to call Manitoba African Cup of Nations, right? So that was 2019. That was the first time we launched the FASI one. But I've been coaching in the community as a sense of giving back since I can go back as early as 2014. So a lot of things happened for me 2014, 2015. The suit stuff started back then. The soccer thing started back then. And I always tell people, it's like, if now you're seeing what I'm doing, you may think I just started 5 years ago. I have been in the grind for the past 10 years trying to build up, right? And I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, I think we need to be patient. You may see somebody else's success now. Now they have the nice car, man. Ask them their journey, man. It's not always that easy. Like, ask them their foundation. How deep did they have to go to build up whatever you're seeing on the surface, right? So the soccer thing started back in 2019. That was the first time. And during COVID, trust me, that's the funny stuff. I'm going to tell you a funny story. During COVID, as a young entrepreneur, I'm like, yes, right? Everybody else is closing down. I say, yes, this is an opportunity for me to introduce something new to the market, because people were canceling their events. And yes, due to the government regulations and rules, but me, I was an outdoor. So I could still host my event as long as everybody was in 10 meters, I think, or 6 feet apart. Wow. So when everybody was shutting down an event, that's when I was building aggressively.
Wow.
Right? Because I knew it now. Because when you're breaking in an event space, you come to understand there's so many events going on in the community at once. But what is going to make your event the number one choice? So some people now we have been in the market for so long, they're like, Gode, man, shut down some of your weekends so we can have our weekends. Because when you're thinking of something to do during summer, depending if we are having finals and you're trying to have a major event, good luck. Right? So then during COVID, again, looking at the crisis, as entrepreneurs, how can we make the most out of a crisis? The market is failing. Yes, you have the reason to complain. Yes, it's failing. But can you say, okay, maybe there's an opportunity to do something about it? Or this is happening. Can I do something about it? Wow. Because business is born out of where chaos, problems, and if you're smart.
Yeah. 100%.
So during COVID, a lot of business shut down, and and respect that. But me, as a young emerging entrepreneur, that's when I became aggressively when I was building. My team was like, yo, this is the right opportunity to break into this event management space, because everybody else was shutting down. I was like, man, this is the first time to do something new. If I fail, I can blame it on COVID. It was during COVID month, COVID year, right? I failed, right? So you can't really blame this. So I went aggressively. I told my team, I was on a calls, like I was on meetings, and because I could do now 5 meetings, 7 meetings during the day, because just log in on Zoom, connect whoever you need to connect and get that meeting done. So during that COVID time, that's when we saw growth in our African Cup of Nations. Our numbers went from 4 communities to 8 to 10 to 16. Wow. In those 3 years or 4 years, 2 years, and those 3 years that were during that COVID time. Why? Guess when everybody else was complaining and finding the reason why they will not do it, because of this, because of that, I was building. I did not launch, I think it was 2020, after the first year, the second year. My event, I did not make it public until a week before.
Wow.
I was building while I was monitoring government restrictions, because I knew they would change week by week. So I had I'm not going to plan because they're not going to open, but I had the plan ready. And as soon as the government said, hey, you can have more than 500 people or 200 people outside, I was like, boom, make it public. Yeah. When everybody else was not planning, or they had no intention of planning, I was planning. Nice. I just had it ready. They say, you know what, opportunity or success is when preparation meets what? Opportunity. Yeah. So I was preparing, waiting for that restriction to be lifted. And as soon as it got lifted, boom, I launched.
That's remarkable, man. So you're essentially, you took the time when most people were either locked down, that's when you're mastermind, coming up with some people and coming up with the plans. And so that's powerful. So you started with 10 teams, then 15.
No, we started with 4, brother.
With 4.
And these are 4 communities, not just random teams. Ability to mobilize, like, let's say, the Congolese whole community, because you have to look at these. I always say the difference between our competition with the other soccer thing is we're actually mobilizing the whole community. Auntie, mom, like, yes, people see the 22 players on a team, but out of that 22, you have uncles, aunties, everybody comes to the events. So ability to mobilize them it's not the same as other maybe Manitoba major leagues that are there, just a 2 random. Like, no, we try to mobilize the whole community, right? So you go from 4 communities to 8 to 10 to 12 to 16. Wow. It's not easy.
So what teams do you currently have right now on the list of people?
Right now we have the Congolese, we have the Nigerian community, we have the Ghanaian community, we have the South Sudan community, we have the Eritrean community, we have Haiti, Asian, community. We have oh man, this is a pop quiz. We have Senegal. Senegalese community.
Somalia is fine.
Yeah, Somalia, was there sometime. Yeah. Who else did we have? We had Egypt, we had Morocco, we had Kenya, we had Tanzania, we had, man.
You got a lot of
bro, yeah, like I can't remember it on top of my head right now.
Yeah, I want to go back to what you said earlier. I think sports is like, it's the environment. It's really, because I'm guessing you started this with 4 teams and you grew it to where it is today. I think the biggest thing that I've seen, especially in our culture, is of course the environment, because there's so much talent. You've probably seen there's so many talented kids, but they just fall into the wrong environment. I remember last year, I don't know the news that came up. There was a soccer game that was happening. And of course, we heard about a tragedy that happened.
Again, I went to meet with these elders in the community. I told them the concept again, with the idea, the concept that says again, the people who are closest to the problem are also closest to the solution. right? So I was a young person seeing the problem that was going on in our Black community, Black on Black crime, shooting, gang, and all these things, man. And I was like, man, many of these guys, I'm like same age, maybe 2 years younger than me or 2 years older than me. So I was like, hey, we gotta do something about this, man. So I went to meet some of the elders in the community because they heard about what I was doing, the proof of concept in 2019. So this 2020, I'm like, yo, I think maybe you are able, maybe. So they invited me. I never went to knock on their door. They knock on my door. Hey, I think you're doing something good. Come over, come talk to us and some. So I present them. I say, this is what we can do. This is what the community needs. And they're like, no, we have done it. We tried it. It didn't work. Back in 2009, I say, yes, I remember. I do know. But and I did understand. I did my research. I did understand what was the problem, why it didn't work, and why it did. So I was like, yeah. So I said, you know what? I understand. They told us, yeah, this is not going to work. I asked them, okay, yo, can you just direct me in the right path? Like, I don't need your money. I don't need any of your resources. Just tell me, go here, go here. That's all I was looking, right?
Yeah.
So they didn't. They kicked us out. I went with a couple of you guys, was 3 young community leaders from different communities, right? We went there, one from Ghana, one I think from Eritrea, right? No, Ethiopia. One from Senegal. They kick us out. They're like, yeah, you guys are young people, just want to come. So I was like, okay, no problem. I was heartbroken, disappointed. I was like, you know what? I'll still continue. Right. So we see this Black and Black crime, and I said to them, I'm like, this is what we can do. We have to solve our own problems. Nobody's gonna come save us.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. So if there's a problem in the community, we need to trust me, I'm in politics too. I'm in different area. I'm in business and politics. I'm in community. I do understand how these things work. Yes, we can go protest, and there's nothing wrong about protesting. But I'm saying at the end of the day, who's in the office, who's on the table? If we're not on the table to make decisions and policies and advocate for things that affect us, we can't really do. And that's why I always encourage our community when it's time of election, brother, you got to go there, vote. You got to go out there and vote because whatever policies, whatever decisions that are being made, you got to make sure that's in the best interest of you as an entrepreneur. You got to make sure that it is in the best interest of you as a person of color, as an immigrant. You got to make sure. But when you don't vote,
Yeah.
then you're giving away your power.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
It's like anything else. I think people coming together for a cause and being able to change the dynamic. So that story or truly can kind of, I'm guessing as a leader, someone who's been doing this now, how long has it been now?
7 years.
7 years. And you've never had something like that happen before with someone, because you've seen a lot of incidents, especially being from the Congo, right? We like I said, you get sort of, I like to call it, we get used to sort of seeing these things, but it's like, how do you change it to directly? So you're doing with soccer, and when that incident does happen, what do you tell people because now people are probably like, do we continue doing this, right? So what did you come back in? Because I know this year you had another successes again.
Oh yeah. Man, I always say this, as an entrepreneur, you're gonna get hit, right? That same year, that was the year that we launched. As you realize, that last year we hosted our finals at Investor Group, which is Princess Auto Stadium.
Yeah.
Right. So this was the first of the end. Like no one in racialized community was ever able to host an event at that Investor Group. That's 32,000 seat capacity.
Yeah.
It took us almost 100 volunteers and staff to execute that thing. But this was literally 3 weeks. That tragedy happened 3 weeks before, because the whole summer we were being advertising that we are going to the higher level. And the higher level was to host it in a 32,000 seat capacity. Screens and everything, sound system. This was master planning. This was go home or go big or go home. Just before that, the reputation of the organization, the company is going good. Everybody is talking about it yo, Gode, you're doing phenomenal. And boom, that tragedy happened 3 weeks before our grand finals at the big venue, the biggest venue in Manitoba in Canada, 32,000 seat capacity. And this tragedy happened, boom, at our event. Oh my goodness. It's like everything you have been working hard for just disappeared. So at that moment, I was exhausted. Even when the tragedy happened, I was at the stadium. I always tell people as a business owner, I was the first one and the last one. Because that day, I was there. Even when the tragedy, I had to make sure everybody gets. Before the tragedy, it's just part of my protocols. I may not be there, and I may come at the beginning, and I make sure that I come at the end, even if I have something to do, right? Because I want to lead by example to my employees, to people, my volunteers. I say, I'm going to be the first one here, and I'm going to be the last one. So when that tragedy happened, it hit all of us. But thank God I had good strategic board, advisory board that I put in place. So when that thing happened, they were able to help us navigate that crisis. Because, man, the police was calling, police news outlets were calling, the community was calling, teams were calling, my staff were traumatized, and I had to keep it all together. I remember we were doing this board meeting after the tragedy happened on advisory, and I'm trying to keep everybody cool. And we're in this meeting, and I'm trying to encourage my staff, my volunteers, the teams. I'm trying to give the message of hope. And we are doing an advisory board meeting, trying to say, how do we navigate this forward? I'm in a meeting, and because at that moment as a leader, you're not even processing. You're just trying to do damage control as much as you can. And I'm in a meeting, and I'm trying to be as strong as I can possibly can. And one of my advisory board members asked me, I say, Gode, I know you are dealing with the pressure of the community, media, police, like everything. He literally asked me, how are you doing yourself? My goodness, man. I broke down in the middle of the meeting. I teared up because I was just going through things. I could not even process it. I could not sleep. My phone was ringing 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 6 a.m., all night on a phone, media trying to do public relation, media call, damage control, and all of these things. And I broke down. I said, man, I don't even know how I'm feeling. Because as a leader, sometimes you get to the rock bottom and nobody knows what you are going through. And you're just going through it. And everybody's throwing flowers like, oh, you're phenomenal, you're good. But nobody sees those downtimes. And I broke down in the middle of my meeting with my 7 advisory board members. And I broke down in tears and everything. I was like, I don't even know. Because I was doing this out of love. And I was doing this for the community. I was doing this. The same, like, why would somebody do this thing? This young person was not in a club. This young person he came to play soccer to find a safe space, to find a space where he can communicate with the community, to find a space. So seeing that tragedy happening, and I'm like, man, I have put my sweat and blood in this organization, and think, how can somebody come and ruin our reputation like this?
No, man, it's sad, man. How old was he again?
He was a young man. He was 22 years or 23 years old.
So Gode, what do you tell some like young people who are listening to this about this? Like, how do we stop like this us against us? How do we stop this? What's
I think how we stop this is starting by we educating ourselves and understanding that we're one people. Before we were individual countries, before the European, the colonial came and divided us to be like, hey, you're from Congo, you're from this. We were one people. Even including not even just black or like Africans or black people, like we were one people until somebody say you are black, you're yellow, you're this, you're that. That's the beginning. And the more people can understand that if I catch you, you're going to bleed the same way. If you're Asian, I catch you, you're going to bleed the same way. We all share the same blood. It's red color. Nobody else bleed in pink or purple or blue or whatever. It's all red. We're same people, man. Now, to make it on a small scale level, we as a black community, right, is to understand. And I used to have, even when we were running the African Cup of Nations, there's some countries back home that have conflict, right? For example, Congo and Rwanda. I had one how many stories, man. I had one more story like we are playing. So was one country, was Congo Republic, the DRC of Congo was playing against the Congo Brazza. As you know, there's two Congos. I got one of the calls, one of the community leaders that says that there is no way that the two countries can play against each other. And be mindful, this is Congo. These guys share same values, same language. They are literally divided by a river. That's what separates the two countries. Wow. Share some culture, like everything. He literally called me. He's like, Gode, do you know the history among these two countries? For that reason, there is no reason that the youth from this country should play with the youth from this country. And this is in 2022. We're living in Canada, brother. This is an elder calling me that the two youth should not play together. Wow. Because of the past history. And I told them, this is exactly the same thing we need. These young people need to play together. We are too far away to divide ourselves. Like I always tell this to all my brothers and sisters. I say, you know what? I don't have the privilege to have all my uncles and my aunties and all my cousins here in Canada. So when I see Honey, I see you as my brother. Because if today I have a problem in Canada, before I can call my auntie in Congo, I'll probably call Honey. Because you reach to my house before my auntie in Congo, in Uganda, or whatever it is, to help me out. Right? Yeah. So we are too far away to be divided. So we need to unify our force, our resources, and empower ourselves. And also know, yes, the history happens. Yes, there's history between maybe from people from the north, that I do understand that. Or people from this country and this country, I do understand those conflicts are there. Please, to the young people, I don't want us to make the same mistake that our forefathers made. Yeah. Right? The history back home, we bring it here. We do understand the harm and we acknowledge the mistake, that those things that have happened, but we cannot continue to carry it the same way. Because there's some people who won't do business. Oh, you are Rwandese, I'm Congolese. Wow. So I can't do business with you. Or I can't. I'm like, brother, like we're too far away for this. Yes, we understand what's happening, but we know better. We should do better.
That's powerful, man. Because what I do is, especially, in Winnipeg and just Canada in general, someone always comes up to you and be like, "Where are you from? Are you rich? And you this?" And we realize, we're all the same. All the same people. All comers are the same. We're all from Africa, and so maybe you have, like, for example, I'm from Eritrea in my background, and so Ethiopia. Most people don't know what Eritrea is because Ethiopia got their independence, I don't know, back in 19 something. So the people don't have no idea what Eritrea is on the map. But it's like right beside each other, just like you're talking about. It's a river across in the Congo, so it's right beside each other. Eritrea and Ethiopia, we're literally the same people. Yeah. But then people don't want to, like kind of say, oh, we're just one. Yeah. But the thing is, it's like, oh, I'm Ethiopian, I'm this. But it's like, so I think we have to sort of, it goes back into education and understanding that history happened a long time ago. But coming to Canada, how can we utilize our resources? And there's a massive community, especially in Winnipeg, being created. Yeah. But I think it comes down to leadership, right? Who's really the leader in charge? Because there's also been leaders who will take advantage of what's happening. And I've been able to kind of see it on the community side as well too, where we see some people who would have leadership, but they're not really leaders, right? Where they have family and kids who who fall into those categories of going into gangs and drugs. So you as a leader, you have to be able to sort of set an example. Right? So if you're setting that example, people will follow you. And I think that's what we're really lacking. So I commend you, brother, for being able to, like I said, you melting down like that on the floor as a leader and then being able to get back up. Cause that's like you said you've been preparing for that. You said 3 weeks and you're in the biggest stadium of the world. Yeah. And then something like that happens. But I think it's a great reminder that in life, things don't happen to us, they happen for us.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Because when things, if you just think, oh, this happened to me, so now you're feeling down, think about it, okay, this happened to you, be grateful, take it as a challenge and keep moving forward. And there's been instances like that, especially in my business where, I actually got robbed. The crazier story is by two gentlemen that are Africans, two black people robbed me and I lost $30,000.
Oh my goodness.
When that incident, and here's the thing, when I was doing the interaction, when I was selling them phones, I looked at them just like, we're brothers. Because I'm like, these are two black brothers. They're not gonna do anything to me. So when that incident happened, it did kind of make me think, okay, how do I get over this? Because now when I see a black person, I have this trauma. Like trauma, I face something similar, right?
Yeah.
And I got robbed with a gun to my face. So there's an instance where they could have did something to me, right? So it's like, and I think it just goes back to really looking at the fun. And so what I did was I started reflecting. I started looking, okay, this is not really their fault. This is just the way they've been programmed. Maybe it's past the trauma. Maybe it's their environment. So when I started looking into who these people are, I find out that these people do this for a living. They root and shoot, but they were just a bunch of kids who just graduated a couple of years ago. They fell into the wrong environment. So I like to kind of have empathy for people, but so it just really just comes down to just environment and the past trauma that we go to. So I think playing sports really helps because as a young kid, you get put into. So for example, when I was telling everybody at the North End, I got put into that environment. I had nowhere else to go.
You have nowhere,
right? So Gode, what you're doing is remarkable, bro, for the youth, for the young kids that are coming up. Because I believe sports, without sports, I don't think I'll be here. You know what I mean?
Same here, man.
So
Same here.
tell me, what's the future look like for what you're building with Canada, Africa, Cup of Nations, and then for your business as well too? What do you see the future look like, and where you're gonna be going moving forward?
Well, I like to say is like now I think with the Canada African Cup of Nations, I want to take us to level 2. The level 2 is to see how can we equip more leaders. Because one thing I've come to realize, the people who are mobilizing these communities, they're young people. Yes, they still need some training. Even me, myself, to be able to trust me, I have a lot of mentors. To be able to be where I am today, I stand on the shoulders of great men, great women who have poured so much wisdom and so much knowledge in me. Like I'll tell you, if I give you a list of my mentors, people that I call on regular basis, from business, from faith, from just relation, from community, like I got a long list. I got from politicians to business owners to pastors to like deep teachers. Like so many people have poured into me. So as I'm looking at the future right now, I'm planning to start giving back. How can I equip the next leaders of tomorrow? Young people. Yes, I'm still learning. Right? I'm still learning. I'm not saying, okay, I'm still learning, but I think I have a little bit of wisdom and knowledge to start pouring into others, right? Especially young people, like maybe I inspire young entrepreneurs, people like just inspire leadership, right? Not particularly just in business, just overall, right? And say, how can I help you? Because somebody else was able to help me, like really to help me to become the person that I am. They have mentored me. They have pointed me in direction. They have helped me to build. Like, it's not, like I always say, I don't believe in the idea of self-made concept. Nobody's self-made a millionaire. Nobody's a self-made billionaire. Nobody. Because we either had a mom, auntie, cousin, girlfriend, somebody had to help you, right? To be where you are at. Right? And if you personally, as an entrepreneur, and you probably will, yes, there's some people who have helped me out
100%.
to be where you are.
Yes.
So I'm at that stage that I'm like, okay, maybe, I think you are the one who have the concept. I think teach one. Like you have to say like something along those lines.
Each one, teach one.
Thank you. So for so long, I feel I've been obese because I've been eating, not teaching somebody else. Right? Yeah. So, and so I'm looking at a way, how can I start mobilizing the next leaders of tomorrow? Now, I don't want us to make those same mistake, like some of our previous leaders, especially in the community, they have made, understanding, but also trying to see, hey, what can we do? Can we start building the next leaders, the next players of maybe that will play on a World Cup one day? Wow. So we have a soccer academy that we're building. I'm trying to look on ways that maybe we can do talent management, because I see some good players, and that's what I'm privileged to be in a space where I'm a head coach at a university level, because I'm in a space now, I'm on a table where I can sign scholarships for some people, right? That's power, right? And I tell people, say, I didn't take on up on that role because of me, because of the pay. Because if they pay, I can put the same hours in my business and I probably make more money. Right? But I took that role so I can be on a space, I can be on a table, and I can say, you know what, I can assign you scholarship, I can sign you scholarship, I can give you scholarship because I know your background. So understanding those, and sometimes as a leader, right, I'm making personal sacrifice, sometimes taking a low-paying job so that I can be in a space where I can say, I can call share and I can advocate for my people, can advocate for those people. So yes, on the soccer side, we're start building now even bigger, better, and higher, right? So that's how I always think is like, there's a saying like your greatest enemy is your last success. So me, I'm already start thinking of next year competition, right? So I'm always constantly building, and I'm obsessed with building people, building system, building institution, building programs, building things that will help people, right? That's on the soccer side. On the suit side, continue building, right? And now I always feel like I'm being pulled between the suit and the soccer. Like the suit is personal, the soccer is more for the greater community.
Yeah.
Right. So
I see that you're a social entrepreneur.
yes. So I'm a social entrepreneur, right? I just don't believe in making profit, which is good, but I'm making profit while maximizing impact.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
So
No. I'm with you, brother. You got a lot of things you're working on. I think it goes back to early, like your curiosity when we first started in the beginning. Yeah. Getting into entrepreneurship at a early young age, picking that up into then going into the community. Because I believe the ultimate impact is people in community. Because there's people who make a lot of money in business, but they only make money for themselves. But then they realize when they look at the end of their career, they help nobody. And so what you're doing, bro, is remarkable because, like I said, each one teach one is not just.
I love that concept, man. When I had that, I was like, yo, honey, is on something great, man.
It's actually an African problem. So if brothers and sisters really understood to the T, it's like when you get knowledge and information, how can you pass it down to someone else? Now you create a ripple effect.
No,
because when you give it to one person, you help one person. Now that one person helps somebody else. So now you've literally, essentially, as the leader, you've created a ripple effect on so many different people and lives. And I think that's how you expand knowledge. And like I was saying earlier, it's like mind, body, and soul. If you can work on those three things, giving especially young people who are out there, because the foundation is always that. It's personal development. Like you said earlier, we read a lot of books. And if we're not doing that as the leader, and how can people follow you, right? So that's my whole thing about that. And that's why, I believe in what you're doing. I believe in, also too, we're building communities and we're helping people.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, it's not just about us, it's about, bigger than us, right?
Oh yeah, it's always bigger than us.
Yeah. So I really appreciate it, Gode, and the future looks bright. Keep up what you're doing, bro.
Hey, you as well, brother. Like I see the amount of work that you are putting in personal, but also hosting those events. Like I say, right? Like you understand that it's the vision is bigger than yourself,
100%.
right? And that's why I always say, as leaders, we should not be, we should not be attached to titles. Like I don't care about titles. I care about making a difference in the lives of others. And I see that you're doing that work, which inspires me, man. I've been hiding, going in front of cameras and things. I just like to do things, but now Barack is challenging me. You are challenging me. It's like, yo, Gode, we need to see you more. So I'm like, yeah, why not, right? So again, it's try to teach one, right? Even there's a saying that I used to say, that I say a lot of our history, kind of we don't know who we are, because yes, a lot of our history was not written, right? And maybe books like the Western history, but if you can sit down with people and hear the stories, that's how we learn, man. From the stories from our grandfathers and our fathers. But maybe we don't have the privilege to have that in Canada. But hey, go to this networking event. Like Honey's showing some phenomenal events there, brother. Right? You may be like, yeah, just come out. Like my story started by going to that one event, making one connection at one time. So you never know who you will meet. Just go out there.
Yeah, connect. And Gode is going to be speaking at the Honey Lounge, which is coming up in about 2 weeks here. So
yes, yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, Gode. So where can people find you? Also to your business as well. Where can they find you?
Man, you can find me. I'm on Instagram, on LinkedIn, Facebook. Where else am I? Like, hey, I'm just around the community, right?
Yeah.
If you're talking about soccer community in Manitoba and Winnipeg, or even now in Ontario, you say, Gode, my name will pop up. Somebody will give you my name, my number, my email. But yeah, my suit company, right, is GK Koche. You can find us on IG. And if you want to find me, just put in my first name, last name. I don't have any, numbers. Just first name, last name. You'll be able to find me on any social media platform. Let's get connected, right? And I'm always looking forward to see how can we empower the next generation.
100%.
How can we help others, succeed?
Yeah. And then if people want to get into the program, you just have to reach out to you and see how that kind of go.
Yes, yeah, just reach out to us on our social media. It's, on Instagram. Our handles, I think, it's CSCN officials Manitoba, and then we have Ontario. But also my GK Cotier, just GK Cotier. You'll find me on IG, right, and on Facebook as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, bro. I really appreciate it. You got a lot of wisdom, my friend, and you're very passionate. I could tell you. Hey, bro, man. You got. So stay tuned. He's got way more he's gonna share. He's gonna go more deep into, because he's seen everything. It's just now it's more kind of sharing with the world. So this is the Rise Podcast. I'm your host. My name is Hani Mahari. We're signing out. Good day.
Appreciate it.